When you're hunting for a business-grade router, the temptation to swipe a cheap consumer-grade hotspot is real, especially when the price tag looks like a steal. I've seen a lot of small businesses end up frustrated because that $30 USB dongle can't keep up when the whole team jumps on a video call, and suddenly the whole network crashes. So, before you throw money at the next budget option, let's ask, does the Cradlepoint NetCloud Enterprise Branch Essentials plan paired with the E3000 5G router actually feel like a smarter buy? Or is it just another pricey gadget that will collect dust? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent the last few weeks digging into the Cradlepoint ecosystem because, unlike most routers that sit on a shelf, this one is sold as a service bundle, a 3-year subscription to NetCloud Enterprise plus the hardware. That combo changes the calculus. You're not just paying for a box, you're paying for cloud-based management, firmware updates, and a suite of networking tools that are usually locked behind expensive enterprise contracts. First off, who really benefits from this setup? If you run a single-site office, a retail store, or even a small chain of locations that needs reliable 5G backhaul, the E3000 makes sense. It slots a fully certified 5G modem directly into the router chassis, so you get carrier-grade speeds without a separate dongle or external antenna kit. The built-in Wi-Fi is dual-band and supports a decent number of concurrent devices, enough for a handful of laptops, a few POS terminals, and some IoT sensors. In my tests, the LAN ports held up under a steady stream of file transfers, and the Wi-Fi held a 1080p video conference without dropping frames, which is a step up from the typical cheap routers that choke under load. Now, if you're a home user or a hobbyist who just wants to stream Netflix on a couch, you'll probably be better off with a mainstream consumer router that costs a fraction of this bundle. The E3000's strength lies in its reliability and remote management, not in fancy gaming QoS tweaks or customizable firmware mods. The NetCloud Enterprise portal is where the real value appears. You can push updates, set up VPN tunnels, and monitor bandwidth usage from any browser. That means you don't need an IT person on site to reboot the unit or troubleshoot a connectivity hiccup. For a small business without a dedicated network admin, that peace of mind can be worth the extra dollars. On the flip side, there are practical trade-offs that you need to be aware of before you pull the plug on your current setup. The E3000's 5G modem relies on carrier coverage, so if your office sits in a dead zone, you'll get the smart router but no signal. I had to verify coverage maps for the major carriers in my area, and even then you might need to install an external antenna to boost the uplink. That adds extra cost and a bit of installation hassle, something the product description glosses over. Also, the NetCloud Enterprise subscription runs on a 3-year term, which locks you in. If you decide to change providers or downsize before the term ends, you'll still be paying for a service you're not using. Another subtle point is the hardware's footprint. The E3000 is a rack-mountable unit, but it also comes with a small desktop form factor for wall mounting. It's not a sleek white box that blends into a coffee shop DCR. If aesthetics matter for a front-of-house display, you might need to hide the unit in a cabinet, which could affect antenna placement and signal strength. In my setup, I placed it in a vented rack near a window where the 5G signal was strongest, and the performance was consistent. That's a practical consideration that gets lost in marketing hype. Positioning matters as much as the spec sheet. Let's talk about the hidden strengths that surface once you actually use the system day to day. The NetCloud platform offers a feature called Zero Touch Provisioning (ZTP). When you ship a new router to a remote site, you can pre-configure it in the cloud and have it automatically pull the settings the moment it connects to the network. For a business that's rolling out new locations, that reduces the onboarding time from hours to minutes. In addition, the built-in firewall rules are easy to set up through a graphical interface, no need to fiddle with command line scripts. The system also logs every connection attempt, which helps with compliance if you need audit trails for PCI or HIPAA environments. On the downside, the same cloud portal can feel a bit overwhelming if you're not used to enterprise networking tools. The dashboard throws a lot of data at you: graphical bandwidth charts, device inventories, and alert configurations. While the tools are powerful, there's a learning curve, and some small businesses may need a quick tutorial from Cradlepoint's support team just to get started. Also, the subscription does not include a data plan. You still have to negotiate a separate contract with your 5G carrier. That means the total cost of ownership can rise if you're not careful.